In this video we are going to talk about top 10 boxers of all time. So before starting this video, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for future updates. Boxing has been recognized as a sport for decades and has produced some of the greatest boxers in history. The constant friction, the always buzzing boxing ring, the hustling crowds, the thudding of boxing gloves as they meet the opponent, and the solemn sighs that end with the final countdown all combined to make boxing a world-class attraction. The boxers, on the other hand, were lauded by the entire generation. Without a doubt, they were all at the top of their game. When they recorded the occurrence in history, they intended to create a benchmark that would never be crossed again. They are all, without a doubt, remembered. Whether it was Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson, it was always about the artists as well as the craft. So, who are the all-time great boxers? Let's see. Number 10. Jack Dempsey. Jack Dempsey, the greatest boxer of all time. Just a few boxers have a shot against Jack Dempsey when it comes to massive popularity. From 1919 to 1926, he was the world heavyweight champion. The nickname, the Manasa Mauler, was given to him. He was also known for his ferocious punching. The boxing style of Jack Dempsey is one of the many reasons he became one of the greatest boxers of all time. In the late 1920s, Jack Dempsey described heavyweight boxing. The Long Count War is one of the most well-known matches played by. Many of Jack Dempsey's fights set attendance and financial records, proving that he was one of the best fighters in the world. This boxer is known for being one of the most brutal boxers of all time, having been elected and named the best fighter of the past 50 years. In 1983, he died at the age of 87. Number 9. Julio Cesar Chavez. Julio Cesar Chavez is one of the best boxers in the world, ranking among the top 10 greatest boxers of all time. He was born in the Mexican state of Sonora in the year 1962. Julio's boxing career began in 1980 and ended in 2005. He holds some of the most illustrious boxing records of all time. Julio Cesar Chavez's full name is Julio Cesar Chavez Gonzalez. He's still familiar with a few well-known moniker. He's known as the Cesar of boxing, the Great Mexican Champion, Mr. Co., and the Lion of Culiacan, among other titles. Julio Cesar Chavez's boxing career is unquestionably one of the finest of all time. He played in a total of 115 matches, winning 107 of them. Knockouts were used to win 86 of them. In his entire career, he had only drawn 2 times and had lost 6 times. Number 8. Sam Langford. We all know how damaging racism can be to a person's future, and Sam Langford was a victim of racism in sports during his ascension. Throughout his career, he was denied several opportunities due to prejudice. Moreover, despite facing many challenges during his career, he established himself as one of the greatest boxers of all time. Sam Langford was born in Nova Scotia, Canada, on March 4, 1886. He was also known as the Boston Tar Kid, Boston Bonecrusher, and Boston Terror. He began his career as a lightweight boxer before transitioning to heavyweight boxing. His entire career had been dominated by him. Sam Langford had appeared in 313 games, winning 211 of them. Knockouts were used to win a total of 126 games. In 1956, the greatest boxer of all time died. Number 7. Benny Leonard. Every boxer's dream is to be the longest reigning lightweight champion. Obtaining such a title is unquestionably one of life's biggest accomplishments. For over 8 years, the great Benny Leonard retained this title until he retired for the first time. In 1896, in New York City, New York, the world's smartest and most defensive boxer was born. Benjamin Liner was Benny Leonard's first name. Everyone knew he was going to be one of the best boxers in the world as his career progressed. Benny had played 220 games, winning 186 of them. He knocked out 70 opponents. He also lost 22 matches and drew 9 times. Benny's feat of having 153 fights in a row without losing a single one was one of his most impressive accomplishments. Benny Leonard's death stunned the whole world. He suddenly collapsed and died while reffing in 1947. Number 6. Willie Pep. There are just a few of the world's fastest and most durable boxers. One of them, Willie Pep, has secured a spot on the list. He was also the 2-time world featherweight champion. Throughout his career, he encountered several setbacks and mishaps. Despite this, he was able to rise to the top of the top 10 boxers. Pep was widely regarded as the best featherweight boxer of all time by many organizations. As a result of his victories, he was named one of the greatest fighters of all time. In comparison to other boxing stars, Willie Pep had a long career. He appeared in a large number of games, totaling 241. In 1937, he began his career as an amateur boxer. His career came to an end in the year 1966. Number 5. Henry Armstrong. Is it possible to hold the world title in 3 different weight classes? With a constructive response to this challenge, Henry Armstrong demonstrated to the world. He is the first boxer to hold world championships in 3 different weight classes at the same time. Featherweight, lightweight, and welterweight were among them. It is without a doubt one of the best boxing records ever made. As a result of his incredible achievements, he is now considered one of the greatest boxers of all time. Just 8 officially recognized divisions existed at the time. In most boxing magazines, Henry Armstrong is ranked first among the top 10 greatest boxers of all time. His illustrious career and accomplishments made him one of the greatest boxers of all time. After a long sequence of illnesses, Henry Armstrong died of heart failure in 1988. Number 4. Jack Johnson. If you're familiar with the most influential sports personalities of all time, you've probably heard of Jack Johnson. He was one of the best boxers in the world. Jack Johnson held the distinction of first heavyweight champion for any black boxer. One of the few pieces of evidence that he was a real boxing hero was his complete humiliation of his rivals. To add to the background, Jack Johnson was unbeatable for more than 10 years in a row. His reputation and accomplishments cemented his place among the greatest boxers of all time. He is without a doubt one of the most well-known African-American boxers of all time. His untimely death in a car accident in 1946 stunned the whole world. Number 3. Joe Louis. Joe Louis is another shining star among the top 10 boxers of all time. He was a heavyweight champion who was born in the state of Alabama in the United States in 1914. For his huge punching strength, he was called the Brown Bomber. Louis was one of the first black boxers to achieve national hero status in the United States. The win affirmed his reputation as one of the greatest boxers of all time. Joe Louis was recognized not only as a national hero of the United States, but also as a symbol of pride. His contribution went far beyond that of an athlete. All of his boxing matches were significant on a global, social, and political level. In golf, the superstar shone as well. He was the first African-American golfer to compete on the PGA Tour. With the death of the boxing great in 1981, the entire world was greatly saddened. Number 2. Sugar Ray Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson will undoubtedly win the award of greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time. In 1917, he was born in Georgia, United States. He defeated other boxing legends such as Randy Turpin, Rocky Graziano, Jake LaMotta, and Kid Gallivan throughout his career. Sugar Ray Robinson was unquestionably one of the greatest boxers of all time. The fact that he was the first boxer to win the Divisional World Championship not once, not twice, but 5 times demonstrated his worth as a champion. In 1942 and 1951, he was awarded the title of Fighter of the Year. From 1940 to 1965, he was one of the greatest boxers in the world. He had a total of 173 victories during this period. It is widely regarded as one of the greatest boxing records of all time. There were 6 draws and 109 knockout wins among the victories. In 1989, the great boxer passed away. Number 1. Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali's career was like a bright star in the sky, inspiring newcomers. He was the first boxer to win the world heavyweight title 3 times. Muhammad Ali's road to being dubbed the best boxer ever was paved by this incredible achievement. Muhammad Ali is regarded as one of the most popular and influential sports personalities not only in American history but also throughout the world. His achievements, prestige, distinction, and experience in boxing guaranteed his place at the top of the list of the greatest boxers of all time. From 1960 to 1981, one of the greatest boxers of all time was at the peak of his powers. In almost every area of boxing, he proved himself worthy. Despite this, he maintained his endurance, passion, and desire to be the best until the end of his career. Muhammad Ali had a total of 56 victories, with 37 of them coming by knockout. During his career, one of the greatest boxers in history only lost 5 times. So that's it for today's video. What do you think of our list? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and want to hear from me again, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell before you go. Thanks for watching.